Hey guys, this is going to be my review of the second episode of Vigil. So, once again, full spoilers before I get into it. And one thing I forgot to talk about in the first episode was then they kept having these flashbacks with Amy when it went back to her past with her husband, and she had or has a daughter as well. Also, it revealed that her and I think it's Catherine, the Rose Leslie character, was once in a relationship. They might still be, I don't know, but it was in the past anyway, these flashbacks. So that seems to have influenced her, choosing her to partner up with her for this investigation. But it's just another thing that's worth talking about because, again, the flashbacks in general don't do much for me, and these flashbacks, I think in quite a cheaply made BBC style show, that they look sort of really bad. But they continue in this one, and we find out then in the past, Amy had to sacrifice her husband. Pretty much sacrifice, because they show these flashbacks again, and they show them sort of crashing the car, going into a lake essentially, and Amy has to sort of make a choice, and I guess naturally she does go for to save her daughter, so she gets her out and brings her to shore. And she goes back for the husband, but it's too late. He's already drowned. And this sort of connects to the scene in the present when, the submarine is, again, they're having this problem with the generator and it's in danger of going under. It's sort of a big part of the episode, but they kind of connect that to what happened with Amy in the past. And it's part of my problem actually with the episode is it, as I said, it's a big part of it, and it just seemed like there wasn't enough reason for it to be in the storyline. It feels like it's just to create an extra bit of tension. It's something which they might come back to. Maybe there will be a bigger importance to it, but at the moment it just seems like it's kind of there for a hurdle, for a bit of drama. And obviously they link it to this thing with Amy in the past, which I just thought was a little bit clunky. Now, there's quite a good scene that comes out of it, because one of the big sort of things in this episode is this character. I think his name's Prenton or I think it was Prenton, another actor who I've seen in a fair few, and he plays kind of the second in command on the ship. So he's kind of questioned throughout the episode by Amy, and there's stuff like how come he sort of gave extra attention to Burke, how come he could court-martialed him or punished him more than the others. And it's sort of, he maintains the line that he was a drug addict, and we find out other stuff these two brothers, for example. At one point one of them's injured, and we find out it was actually his brother who was a drug addict who brought the drugs on board, which the cover story is than the Martin Camperson character took anyway. So the heat is sort of turned up on this Prenton character, and he ends up locking Amy in a cabin, but not before she can record him basically sort of losing his shit and kind of making himself sound suspicious, because he kind of says, he was that being Burke, he was a screw up. He was a drug addict. He deserved what he got. That sort of thing, which obviously makes him sound a bit suspicious. It's a bit of a cliche scene because the way she like tricks him, she throws the bed on the phone, but with like, sorry, throws the phone on the bed, but like with the recorder still playing, and that's when, and he obviously conveniently just comes out with it. I guess they're saying that she sort of got his ire up and he blasted it out, but it didn't seem like it took that much sort of prodding from her. It at least shows like a good sort of initiative and sort of cunning from her, but anyway, he locks her in, and that's when this sort of tension starts, where the submarine's in danger, and as I said, they sort of tie it to what happened with her in the past, and it's just a little bit clunky, that, for me, but it's sort of saying that she now has this. She's nervous about those sorts of situations, so she doesn't like when she's like trapped in the cabin, and then you get like the water starting to come in. You also get this like quite cheesy sort of like, I don't know if I would call it a romance, but maybe potentially they could go this way with this character of Coxon, who's like supporting Amy. He's the one who's been showing her around basically, and he's sort of been a little more open to her than the other like crew members have been. But there's that when he's like kind of holding her hand and stuff. But yeah, things come to a boil with Prenton, and I do enjoy his character because he is like an entertaining douchebag, and he kind of gives the drama a bit of a lift. And one turn up for the books is that the Joseph Patterson, I think it's Peterson character, kind of turns on him because Amy plays him the recording, and he's like, right, you're gonna answer a question now, and this leads to quite a fun little shouting match between the two of them, and like Amy tries to get answers out of Prenton, and eventually he sort of is open and says, well, what happened is, because he was found with the drugs later, he says they were brought on board by this other crew member, or the brother of this other crew member, and I took them at the time, and I just held on to them because I thought it was for the best. And then he's honest about getting into a fight with Burke later on, and it sort of sounds from what he's saying that he might have killed him, although he's saying I didn't think I hit him that hard, and he's just sort of passed out. But then there's this sort, which is one of the like stronger moments of the episode, is when Amy sees a sort of a substance on, I can't remember what it was, but it must have been like when she looked at a picture of Burke or something, and or I think maybe Prenton described it, but it's this substance which indicates to Amy that then he might have been poisoned, not sort of overdosed or not beaten to death. So that convinces her that Prenton isn't guilty. Then there was someone else involved, something else. So the theories are up in the air. I do actually have a clue or an answer or a prediction, I'll say, and you can share your predictions with me in the comments below. But I think it could be the commander, the captain. I think it could be the Joseph Peterson character. I just think there's something about the way he was happy for Amy to like suddenly start questioning Prenton about the way he sort of like turned the heat on him, because if he did do it and he wants to cover it up, obviously being able to like pass it on to someone else and put them under the spotlight probably does benefit him. And he's, just the sort of character you could see being a little bit shady and maybe the one who's behind all this. Obviously, we're starting to get, we're starting to see clips from this recording which Burke sent to his girlfriend, to Jade, who by the end of the episode is dead herself. We sort of get this subplot where Catherine is trying to interview her, trying to talk to her, and she's nervous. There's like people around her in the village watching her, and it's almost like this sense of paranoia. Then just maybe they're not happy with her talking to the police, or maybe she feels then there could be someone else around. Because it's later on in the episode. Well, first of all, Catherine is attacked in her own home, and she says later then they appeared to be after her USB stick, which she got from Burke, or from Burke's belongings. The one which obviously in the computer, which sort of shows him kind of dishing the dirt, if you like, on the Navy and some conspiracy theory about them. So it seems that that's what they were after, and it's later on that Jade calls Catherine, wants her to come and get her, but before she can get there, Jade is killed, basically. Catherine finds her at the end of the episode and she's drowned in the river, and that's it. So maybe someone involved in the Navy who didn't want us speaking, maybe not. I guess we'll soon find that out. But just to sum up, I thought this was a weaker episode than the first one. Again, I think it's just maybe something about the Navy setting and it not being the most compelling. Some of the stuff with like the generator, for example, isn't really doing it for me. It just feels like this forced way to have more drama and tension. But at the same time, there definitely are moments in there that I like, and it definitely has some decent stuff to still keep me watching. The hook at the end of the episode wasn't as good as last time, because you pretty much guessed that something was going to happen to Jade, and then she was probably going to be killed off to like keep her quiet. But so the hook wasn't as good in this one, although the stuff with Prenton was good, and that was quite a cool little twist. And Burke appears to have been poisoned, so not really great stuff, but again, there's some good stuff in there, and it's only episode 2, so I would say there's just about enough to keep me watching, because obviously sometimes with Line of Duty it took a bit of time and it sort of set things up and then things really hit into high gear. But this obviously has a big job on its hand to be anywhere near as good as Line of Duty. We'll see how things go though. So that's episode 2 of Vigil. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you have any theories on who might have been involved in this, who might have killed Burke and then tried to cover it up? Please let me know in the comments. Also like and subscribe and share me out on your social media feed. But I'll be back with episode 3 of Vigil soon. Thanks guys. Goodbye.